Hi, everybody. This is Virginia Milner coming to you for the DeKalb County Library System. And the other day in a class, I had told my class that I had originally started to do something for Halloween for that day. And I changed my mind, and they were so disappointed that I promised to make it into a video. So that's what this is going to be. So Anna, Isabel, Canary, Gigi, May, Pat, Rebecca, and Susan, this is for you. And I think there was somebody else, but I can't remember who it was. So this is for you. I've never done a Halloween themed one before. I've done Day of the Dead, but I've not done Halloween. So this should be kind of fun. So anyway, what we're going to do, well, I'll let you see what we're going to do. We're going to make a spider and a spider web, and we might make one other thing if I don't run out of time. So what we're going to need for this is very, very simple. For the spider, we're going to need one bead, and I'm going to use one 6mm. Is it 6 or 8? Yeah, one 6mm black bead is what I'm using. For those of you who get kits, I'm going to give you all different kinds of colors because I've got some really pretty things that can be used to look kind of like a pretty spider. So I'm at one 6mm bead, 20 gauge wire, and you can choose your choice of smaller wire. You just need a heavy wire and a lightweight wire for this. I'm using 20 gauge. You can use 22 gauge. I probably wouldn't go larger in gauge than that for the little spokes for the spider web. And then for the, wow, a lot of alarms. And then for the webbing part itself, you can use 24 gauge, 26 gauge. I probably wouldn't go smaller than that. So we're going to go with 20 gauge and 24 gauge for our spider web. And then for our spider, we're going to use 24 gauge. So let's get started. We need, tools. We need our round nose pliers, and the round nose are actually round. You'll be able to see that they're perfectly round all the way around. And then our chain nose or square nose pliers are partly rounded on the outside and flat on the inside. And then we need cutters to cut our wire, and you need a ruler to measure the wire, and it's buried here under a lot of stuff. So then you need a ruler to measure your wire. So let's get going. It's going to be a fun one. So let's get down here to the other camera and let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to start with the spider. Let's start with the web. So for the web, what I'm going to need is 3 pieces of 20 gauge wire that are each 4 inches long. We're going to start with that. And then I'm going to use 24 gauge wire. I need about 50 inches or so. So that's a little less than a yard and a half. So what do we got here? 12. Yeah, about 48, 50 inches. 12, 24, 36, 48, and then another couple. And let's cut that off. Right there. Okay. A little bit straightened out here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is grab what I'm calling my little spokes here. And I'm going to find the center. So I've got 4 inches, so I'm going to go 2 inches from one side. Then I'm going to take my 24 gauge wire. There we go. And I'm going to just do a little anchoring wrap. right here in the center. So I need one little piece of wire to hold on to. So I've got about a 1/2 inch of wire over here that I'm using to hold while I wrap these 3 pieces of wire. And I want to make sure that the wire is side by side and not stacked up on top of each other. So I'm just going to give myself 3 wraps, just enough to hold it in place. Here we go. Then I'm going to use my square pliers to just kind of tighten that up. All right. And then I'm going to cut off the little short tail because we don't need that anymore. Let's cut that off. And then push down that little end. Nice and snug. And now, where'd my little bead go? Come back here. It's trying to run away. Not allowed. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is check and make sure I'm right in the center here because it might have slid a little bit when I was wrapping it up. Yes, I'm right in the center. So now I'm going to take these little spokes and I'm going to spread them out. I'm going to spread one to the right and one to the left. And keep the other one straight. And then I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing. Spread the right one to the right, left one to the left. And keep the other one in the center. There we go. All right, so now we're ready to get started. Straight out there like that. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, well, the second thing I'm going to do, or the third thing I guess I'm going to do, is wrap this long tail of 24 gauge wire around these spokes. So I'm going to use an over and under motion in order to do that, just to get them anchored a little bit. So I'm going to go over the first one, under the second one, over the third one, and under. I'm just going to keep doing that till I get all the way around, over, and under. So I have one full circle. I'm going to go around and do it again, over, under, keeping my wraps nice and close together, over and under. And I'm just turning this wire in order to keep this going, over and under. And I want it right, the wires wrapped right beside each other. I don't want them to overlap. And then over and under until I have a full 2 circles around. So you've got 2 circles. Come on. Focus for me. There. Squeeze that together. So we have 2 full circles. Squeeze that. There we go. So now what we're going to do is actually start to create the web. So that's going to require some wrapping around the spokes themselves. Okay, so this one is going under this first spoke. So what I'm going to do is wrap it around that spoke and then go to the next one under and wrap it around. Go to the next one. Again, under, wrap it around. Now I want to make sure these stay in place because they're going to shift a little bit at first because they're not quite anchored yet. Wrap it around, under the next one, wrap, next one. I'm just going to keep doing this. Until I get to where I started, which was right here. There's my first wrap. And then when I get there, I'm going to go up a little ways away from the first wrap. Oh, there's my first wrap right there. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to scoot up and go under the next spoke. Start my next row. Okay. Wrap around. Under. Wrap around. Under. Wrap around. You don't want to make it too tight, otherwise these will kind of start to bow. They'll start to pop up in the middle, and you don't want that. You want to keep it as flat as possible. And wrap it around. Oops, get over there. There we go. You can see my web starting to form. And wrap around. Okay, that's the last one in that row. And then let's go up a little bit and wrap around. Next row. We're always starting under the spoke and wrapping around. And the next one. Next one. And the next one. Okay, keep going. And I'm just going to keep doing this until I either run out of wire or get to the end. Okay. See my spider's web? Isn't that neat? Okay, here's another full turn around. Let's go up a little bit for the next row. Okay. Oh, and you can decide how far apart you want these to be. If you want them really close together, that's fine. If you want them further apart, fewer rows, that's fine. There's not a set number of rows that you need to do. It depends on how big you want your spider web to be and how you want it to look. But just remember not to pull too tight. You don't want these to start to pop up. You want it to be nice and flat. Okay. And the shorter the wire gets, the easier it is to wrap. Start out with this really long piece of wire. And it's bouncing around and kind of a pain in the neck, but it will be worth it in the end because I'll have a little spider's web. Oh, and you know what? This is going to be a pendant, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. It's going to be a pendant. It's going to be kind of cute. I think this is almost the last of it. Coming to the end of my spokes. And let's meet up this one. That will do it. So this one, I'm going to wrap around twice because that's my last one. 2 times, 3 times, it's up to you. So as long as it's nicely anchored, and then push that down, clip off that end. Look at that, I had a whole foot of wire left. I don't know if that's enough to use for my spider. I wish it was. But it is enough to use for something else. So then I use my pliers and just push that little end nicely and snugly against the rest of the wire so that it won't catch on anything, particularly my skin. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is just kind of give each of these a little slope. Just kind of give them a little graceful curve. I just do that with my fingernails. So it's not just wire going straight across. Looks more like a little spider's web, which is what we're after all. And you use your own aesthetic, your own thoughts of how you want it to look. And there's my little web. Yay. So now what I'm going to do is just turn these little spokes down and under, clip off the ends. Just clip it down to about 1/4 of an inch. And just turn that down. Just like that. And then push it down. Just squeeze it till it's just a little nub. Little piece of. Okay, and one of these is going to be what you hang it from. So I'm going to keep one of them and make a loop. I'm going to make this one the loop since it's nice and long, about 1/2 inch or so. Doesn't need to be any more than that. You can put it on a chain or on a cord, so you just want to make a big enough loop so that it can hang on something. So I just went in there with my pliers and made a nice little loop. The others I'm going to cut off and just turn them under like I did the first one. Okay. Okay, there we go. Squeeze that down. And there's my little web. Here it is. Isn't that cute? Yay! Now let's make a spider. All right, for my spider, I just need a small piece. Let's see, where is it? Gauge wire. This out a little bit. Actually, I probably don't need this because I'm going to use this little excess piece of wire that I had left over for something. You only need about 1.5 inches in order to use that to hang it from the web. So what I'm going to do now is cut my 24 gauge wire, and I wish this was enough, but it's not, because you need about at least 12 to 15 inches and of wire for your little spider. Here we go. Now, oops. Oops. All right. So what I'm going to do is find the center of my wire. And just make a little loop with my round nose pliers. And if you use a bigger bead than the 6mm that I'm using, you want to make this is the head and this is the body. So if you use an 8mm, you might want to make a bigger head. It's just the head of the spider just needs to be smaller than the body. That's all. So I'm going to go about a little more than halfway down my pliers and make a loop like so. A little bit smaller than the body of my spider. So now I've got a little loop here. And I'm going to continue around. I wrapped around one full time. So now I've got 1 and 2 full wraps around. And then I'm going to bend that long tail of wire straight down at the bottom of my loop, and the other long tail of wire, same thing. Just bend it straight down, like so. And I just dropped my little bead. Come back. Keeps trying to run away from me. It does not want to be a spider. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to grab my bead. And I'm going to slide both of the little tails of wire inside my bead, inside the little drilled part of my bead, and up where my loop is. So then I'm going to bring one of the tails of wire. Make sure that they're split and they're one's going to the right, one's going to the left, and they're not crossing over each other. Just bring one around the side of the bead and up to where my loop is. And I'm going to feed the wire through the loop. It's shifting on me, stop that. Feed that through my little loop. Nice and snug. There we go. And just wrap that around. My little loop one time. I want to make sure I have a full wrap. So I'm going to bring it back through to the back. You want to make sure that your wire doesn't get knotted up or tangled up. So I wouldn't suggest trying to pull it from the end. I would suggest that you feed it through little bits at a time. Otherwise you'll end up with you can end up with little kinks in your wire, and you don't want that. Okay. Go. Nice. Okay, so now we're going to make our little legs. Okay, so first one I'm going to do is just loop over, and it depends on how long you want your little legs to be. I'm going to make mine about 3/4 of an inch because we're going to be twisting them. So that will make them a little bit smaller. So I'm going to go 3/4 of an inch. And it just depends on how creepy you want your little spider to be. So let's go 3/4 of an inch for my little leg, my first little leg. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's pretty long. Wow. Okay. All right. And this came through to the back, and then I made my little leg, and now I'm going to feed it back through the loop through the front. So it's coming from the back and going through the front. That a little shorter because that looks really, really long, at least to me. So I think I'm going to take it down to about 5/8 of an inch instead of 3/4. Okay. Now that I've decided that, let's go ahead and feed that through the front. And I'm holding on to the leg because I don't want it to pull shorter. Okay, feed that through the front. And out the back. Wrap it around the loop. Make another leg. About the same size as the first one. It doesn't have to be absolutely exact. It's a spider. Just get it as close as you can. Feed it back through the front again and out the back. And again, I'm holding on to the leg. Just control the size. Okay. Okay, let's bring it back around and through the front again. And wrap it around. Loop. Let's feed that through there. What did I do? I forgot to make the leg. Virginia, make a leg. It's a spider. Okay. Let's make a little leg. Over there. Leg number 2. Stay over there on your side. Okay, my third leg. And spiders have 8 legs, so you need one more. Okay. One more little leg. There it is. And feed it through the loop. There we go. Snug. Okay, so they're my 4 little legs. And now this is a personal choice. If you want, you can make a little antenna, which spiders do have, so may as well make one. So now I'm going to make that about 1/3 of the sizes of the size of the leg. Just a little antenna on top, right here at the head of the head, at the top of the head. And that's maybe, how long is that? About 1/8 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch. Measure. Yes, about 1/8 of an inch. And now we're down to the tiniest bit of wire. So now I'm going to bring that last little piece of wire through the head, through the little loop. And lock it down. So I wrapped it around one time. And let's take it back through one more time, just to lock it in. Here we go. So I have my 4 little legs on one side. 1, 2, 3, 4. My little antenna at the top. Let's cut off this little piece of wire that I don't need. Scooch that together here. Nice and close. And cut that off. Here's that little tail now. it down there. Okay, so there are my legs on one side. So I'm going to go ahead and do the legs on the other side, and I shall return with all of my little legs done. Do the same thing that I did before, just bring up the bottom and thread my wire through the front of my loop. Again, I would feed it through, kind of a push-pull motion so that you can control how the wire goes through. Put it up that side there. Okay, and then thread it back through the loop again just to anchor it. Nice and close. Here we go. And then I'm going to start on my legs again. Push that over a little bit. And I'm coming from the back. So I'm going to make my little leg about the same size as the other. About a little more than half an inch, about 5/8 of an inch. Oops. Yeah. Don't want them to be completely lopsided. And then feed it back through the loop. In from the back, feed through the front. Make my second leg. Sorry about the noise from my ruler. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish up the little legs off camera, and I'll be back to show you how to finish it up. Okay, so I've got all my little legs done, and I'm going to twist them to make them into the little legs that you will see at the end. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my square pliers. You can probably use your fingers to do this too, but I'm going to use pliers so that you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to twist them. Like so. You don't want to twist too much because you don't want to snap off one of its little legs. I just love radio silence when somebody's doing something like this. See how the little legs are forming. Oh, it's starting to look like a spider. Here to the bottom. Isn't that neat? And let's go to the other side. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side, and I'll come back when they're all twisted in a moment. Okay, my little legs are twisted. Now I'm going to twist my little antennas. I guess that's what they're called. These little things at the top of the spider's head. I think they're antennas, so that they know when an ant or something has been caught in its web. Okay. Let's twist those a few times. Ooh, oh, I have a spider. And now all I need to do is shape the little legs. I can just use my fingernails, or I can use my pliers, just kind of bend it about a third of the way from the body, right near the body. And then I have this other 2/3 hanging down, create a little foot like that. Let's do that again. So I'm just going to bend that down. See if I can get a good view. Oh, I just took my camera off the stand. Get back on there. Okay. So you can use your fingers or you can use your pliers. I'm just gonna work with me here. Ah, there. Okay. I'm just going to bend it down right there, just about 1/8 of an inch away from the body. I'm going to go down here to the very tip and bend it up to create its little foot like that. And I'm going to do that to all my little legs. Bend it down, make a little foot for all 8 of its little legs. I should call her Charlotte. Bend that down. I'm going to twist this one a little bit more. Needs a little more of a twist. This little leg. There. Bend it. Make my little foot. And let's squeeze that together a little bit. That little loop there. Make my little foot. And bend. Make the foot. And now, all I need to do is shape the legs in the direction that I want them to go. Yes. And now I will bend my little antennas a little bit. From the side. There's my spider. Isn't he cute or she cute? All right. There's my spider. There's my web. Ah, that's so sweet. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and hang it from the web. So I'm going to take this little piece of 1.5 inch piece of wire. And I'm just going to make a loop on each end. Like so. Now I better tell you how to do it. It doesn't have to be a big loop, just slide my wire down about, a quarter of the way down my pliers. Make sure nothing's sticking out the back there like that. And then rotate, make a small turn, open my pliers up. Without shifting my wire, I'm going to rotate back and clamp back down on my wire, make another small turn, and I'm going to keep doing that until I have a closed loop, just like that. Now I want it to sit on top. And by that, I mean I want, instead of a kind of a P shape, which is what I have now, I want it to be more like a lollipop. So I'm going to stick the tip of my pliers into my wire and just bend it back until the loop is nicely centered on top of my wire, and it'll open up a little bit, so you just have to close it back up. Now it looks more like a little lollipop. A little bit more. There we go. Little loop on both sides. And let's just attach it. You can attach it anywhere on your web, but because I have, where is it? The loop that's going to go through my little cord or my chain up here, I'm going to attach him down here at the bottom and just hang him from the web. It doesn't have to hang right here at the bottom. It can hang any way you want so that it'll swing a little bit. So I'm going to open up my loops. Put one of them through the loop of my spider. Right there in that little loop. Get in there and open it up a little bit more. They slide that in there, in that little loop. Get in there, my goodness. Doesn't want to cooperate. Let's open it up a little bit more. There. And I just put it in there in between my two little antennas. There's my loop. and then attach it to the web on the other side. There's my loop up. And there we have it. There's my little web and my little spider. Do-do-do, swinging from the web. Now, if you wanted to, you could go ahead and loop it in this bottom loop. You can make a loop at the top, a loop at the bottom, and then hook this into the loop at the bottom. But this way, when I have it on, he'll swing back and forth. Well, he would swing back and forth if he was in the loop. This way, he looks like he's moving around the spider web. Boom. There it is. There's our little nod to Halloween spider and its web. And here's another one I made, they're a little bit smaller. Yeah. He's smaller, a little more dainty. I made this one pretty massive. Now this is a big guy, a big web, slightly bigger spider, not much. But there is our nod to Halloween. I hope everybody's happy about that. That's it. I was going to do one more thing, but I don't think I have time. I think I've taken up enough time for Halloween. And I think that's it. Let me see. How much time do I have? Hold on just 1 second. Okay, I think that's all she wrote, folks. Folks, this is our homage to Halloween. Little spider in its web. Hi, Charlotte. Woo! I hope you enjoyed this. This was kind of fun. I've never done one of these before. And there's lots of little videos out there about how to do different spider webs and different spiders, but I thought this would be a little bit fun, and some folks actually wanted it, so here it is. Here she is, our little spider in our little web. And I really do think this would be kind of cute to wear. It's, ooh, yeah, it's really, really, really pretty. Pretty large too. Put that on a chain and wear it. There you go. Nice. That's it. There's our spider and our web. Those of you who get kits will get the wire for the web, the wire for the spider, the bead for the spider. In fact, I'm going to give you two, enough for two, because I had hoped to do this witch's broom, and I just took too much time doing this, so didn't get to do it. So I'm going to give you enough wire and a couple of beads for you to make two spiders' webs and two spiders. So you can have some fun with that. How do you like them apples? Ooh. I should give you enough for three so that you can make a pendant and a pair of earrings. Well, I would do that, except that I don't want them all to be the same color. I want you to be able to do two different colored ones, maybe. If I was going to give you two to make a pair of earrings, that would just be the same color. But I'd rather give you enough to make a pair of two pendants, so you can keep one and give one away. Anyway, Have a spooky, happy Halloween, and we will see you next time. If you would like to get in touch with me, my email address is jewelrygin20@gmail.com. That's jewelrygin20@gmail.com. You can also get in touch with us. I would really love to see what you do with this. I would love to see your spiders and your webs and any other Halloween things that you want to post on the library Facebook page. I would love to see them and get your ideas. So that is facebook.com/decab library. That's facebook.com/decab library, spelled DEKALB LIBRARY. And I hope that we will hear from you. We would like to hear your thoughts, your complaints, even if you didn't like something that I did, or if it wasn't clear, send that to my email so I can hopefully answer what questions you might have had. And we just love to hear your feedback. So until next time, enjoy the rest of your week, or your week wherever you are in it, and your weekend, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.